there may be people who haven't. So do you want to talk about your journey, like your literal journey, and then obviously what led to your eventually embracing Islam?
Yeah, definitely. So I'd say I've been like a spiritual person definitely for the last couple of years. I think like 2017, I kind of got really into a lot of different kind of what I see now as like new age spiritualism, a lot of different things. And I kind of got into very much like manifesting and the whole idea of praying, but praying more to the universe. So I used to have like a little prayer practice and mantras and stuff that I used to do, and this kind of like gratitude practice. But I definitely, aimed it at the universe rather than this idea of God. And then, yeah, like I said, I was in, I think Pakistan, like in 2019, kind of really sparked a lot of my interest because, when I was there, I met like a lot of different people, and I met a couple of Muslim women who, really did kind of show me a lot more what Islam was like, because like, I guess I'm ashamed to say, like, I've lived in the UK for all of my life, really, apart from my travels and a few years living in Australia, lived in London for a few years, but I never had any Muslim friends. I can't even remember if I've really worked with any Muslims. I must have. I used to work for Nando's actually at their head office, which is a really multicultural company. So like I must have, but I don't recall it at all. So really kind of going to Pakistan and especially speaking to women who, we see as some women in countries like that as quite oppressed. And then I realized like, hang on, like you're really strong, you got your own business, you're so independent. That's really kind of got my mind like thinking a lot more open and thinking about different things. Then I went to Indonesia for a little bit. I met some like kind of more local people in Indonesia who are Muslims, and we had some really good conversations. And then I went to Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia for me was very much just like a travel trip. Like as soon as they opened their borders for tourism, which was like end of 2019, I was like, as soon as I can, like I'm going to Saudi Arabia. Like, I don't know why, but it intrigued me for so long. I think just because it had been closed for tourism. So I was like, what is going on here? And I just happened to, through couch surfing, actually, which was something that I'd never done before, I met a few families in Riyadh and just got welcomed in so amazingly. And, just really part of their day, I was kind of just like hanging around their house, and we would just go out for dinner and things. And we went on a road trip as well. And, a few of them, obviously they'd be like, oh, we just need to stop and pray. And that's when I really started to understand more of like what being a Muslim was like in the daily life, especially when it came to prayer. We'd stop at the mosque, or, you'd see people in Saudi, kind of on the highway, just stopping on the side of the road to pray. And I was like, what is going on, And obviously in Saudi as well, still the shops shut for prayer, the cafes shut for prayer. So a few times I got, shut out of places, and you're just waiting for prayer to finish. And when you're like that, it's like really annoying, to be honest. But it's still, it made me really aware of these prayer times. And, I say to my friends, like, what is it that you're doing? And how they kind of explained to me how they felt after prayer was like how I kind of tried to feel after my prayer practice that I had myself, and trying to do a meditation. And that's really what got me intrigued. And then I happened to go to India. Then I came back to Saudi, was traveling around a little bit more, and I saw some videos of people going to Medina. And I was like, okay, non-Muslims can go to Medina. And I just realized that Medina was really close to Jeddah, which is where I was going. And really on a whim, I just kind of basically booked a bus, booked a hotel. And before I know it, I was like in Medina, which now I realize is a really big deal. Obviously at the time I was a little bit blasé about it as well, because I didn't really realize just how big of a deal that is to be able to go there. And I had a really amazing 2 days, and it was so amazing just to see Muslims from, all over the world, wearing different clothes, different skin colors, and just, groups of women, groups of men, families, couples. It was just so lovely. And it really does have this such peaceful, atmosphere. And then like literally just after that, like about a week after that, I went back to India, and then after that, like lockdown happened. So that all kind of happened, and it left me with a lot to think about. And then lockdown happened, and I was in Indonesia, and all of a sudden I had a lot of time to think about things. And, I still was speaking to a couple of friends that were in Saudi, and, Ramadan was kind of approaching as well. And that's really what got me thinking about it. And, obviously being in COVID, when we didn't really know what was going to happen, it was quite a scary time as well, I think. And for me, I really kind of turned to that prayer practice and was kind of like, let's give asking God a go, for protection instead. And that's kind of how it started. And then I kind of got interested in, okay, like, how do you pray as a Muslim? And then that's when I started that. And then as kind of maybe about a month later, then Ramadan came around. I was in Indonesia. I literally lived across the road from a mosque where I was living in Indonesia. So I was like, okay, I had some Indonesian friends that were fasting, so I decided to fast. And that was also a huge catalyst for obviously learning more. I read the whole Quran during that time. There was like nothing going on in travel blogging, so I really did kind of just say, like, have the month off working, leave your blog alone, just learn, fast, sleep, it's fine, just kind of relax. And then after that, I wanted to keep on praying. I kind of got a better prayer practice during Ramadan. Like towards the end, I was trying to really like pray 5 times a day in the last 10 days because I realized how special they were. And that's then it kind of snowballed after that. And then I came back to the UK in July, nearly a year ago, actually. And I kind of knew before I left Indonesia that I wanted to do my Shahada, but I also realized that I was in kind of like a bubble on this tiny little island across the road from a mosque with Muslims around me. And I was like, let me get home, back to my family, back to my kind of like more like normal life, and think, do I still feel the same way? But I did, and I did, and I was still kind of praying. I think I wasn't praying as much. I remember obviously in the summer now here, the prayer times are so long, whereas in Indonesia, the time doesn't really change in Indonesia. So I was like, wow, like, they're totally so early and so late. But yeah, I realized it was something that I still wanted to do. And then in August, I went to London and then I did my Shahada. So, and I think before that, I kind of got to a point where I'd like hit a wall basically, whereas I was like, I'm praying as a Muslim, I'm trying to think like a Muslim, trying to do certain things, even when it came to like dressing, I was like becoming more conscious of what I was wearing slowly. And I kind of even felt to a point where I was learning, I felt like a sponge, like where I'd learned like so much that like I couldn't learn anymore because I also like wasn't Muslim yet. So I was like, I feel like I need to like take that step and that leap in order to, and that commitment in order to say like, this is what I am, and then to kind of go from there, because I was like, I can't just keep praying and doing all of this like without being Muslim. So I kind of just have to make this commitment that I am and see what happens.